You've reached the place where the unfulfilled desires are pleasing you? Not yet, eh? You know that there will always be unfulfilled desires, yes? Otherwise you could be finished, and you can't ever be finished. So it is logical, isn't it, that your contrasting environment would continue to produce new clarity about what you want, so that there would never be a time, no matter what, that you would stop asking. And so as long as you are experiencing contrast, which is as long as you are here focused, that contrast is going to produce within you subtle and dramatic preferences. It just happens, even if you don't talk about them with your words. And when the preferences are born from the magnificent, life-giving contrast, that is your step one of the deliberate creative process. You ask. Whether you know you are or not, you are asking. You cannot be treated unfairly without a desire for more fairness to come forth. You cannot be hungry without wanting food. You cannot have a physical condition that isn't pleasing without an improved physical condition coming forth. You can't be bound up in traffic without desiring that there be a better flow of traffic. You cannot have any kind of an experience without there being some kind of contrast which sharpens your clarity. You can't stop asking. You can't stop preferring. You are doing it on all levels of your being. You are asking fiends. Yes, you are. And you were born to be that. And so as the desire keeps exuding from you vibrationally, whether you back it up with words or not, whether you support it with accurate words or whether you use words that don't support the vibrational offering, you are vibrationally asking constantly. And Source is so aware of the perfection of where you stand and of the perfection of your request that Source, in the moment that you ask, answers and says yes to it. So immediately, when you ask for something, Source follows the rocket of your desire and becomes a vibrationally equivalent to your desire. Can you hear that? That's such an important thing to understand. In the moment that a rocket of desire exudes from you, whether you are consciously aware of it or not, as that rocket shoots out of you, Source energy says, we are in agreement with this newfound perspective that you on the leading edge has conjured, and we are a vibrational match to your desire. Instantaneous giving of that what you are asking for. The vibrational matching of your desire happens in the moment. Well, you got to be wondering, then where's my stuff? Because if Source immediately becomes at one with your request, then why is there a gap in terms of time between your asking for something and your receiving of it? Well, you must become vibrationally equivalent to what you're asking for. When you desire more money and you're complaining that you don't have enough, you are not a vibrational match to more money. When you are sick and you want to be well and Source agrees and the vibrational stance is there for your wellness, if you are continuing to beat the drum of not being well and justifying why you're not well, then you are vibrationally out of sync with wellness. So we want for you to pay attention right here in the beginning of this gathering about these two vibrational stances that are occurring within you constantly. There's the vibrational stance of your desire, and Source energy is at one with that. And then there's a vibrational stance of whatever you're doing right now with your own thoughts, with your own vibration. We want you to think about this relationship between your desire, where Source abides, and your belief, where you are abiding. And we want you to begin to take note of the vibrational relativity between those 2 points. And those 2 points are essential for understanding any sort of guidance, aren't they? When Jerry and Esther programmed Magellan, the navigational device in their vehicles, Magellan always knows where they are. There are satellites in the sky and antennas on the roof and a computer in the vehicle. So Magellan always knows where they are. And then Jerry and Esther program in their desired destination. So those 2 points of relativity are what Magellan is using in order to devise the route. So Magellan, looking at the mapping system that is in her system, it's a female's voice. The male's voice was far too bossy for Jerry and Esther. As Magellan considers where they are in relationship to where they want to be, she devises a route. And then Jerry and Esther have visual and verbal description of how to follow the path. And if they get off the path, they stop for fuel or a taco or something. Magellan throws a little fit. Magellan says, please proceed to the highlighted route. Please proceed to the highlighted route. Because Magellan can tell that from where they are and where they say they want to go, they're off their path. You have a much more sophisticated, divinely inspired navigational system within you called your emotional guidance system that lets you know in every moment if you are right now on the vibrational path of that which you say you want and that which Source knows you want and that which Source is in vibrational alignment with. You see how it works? So you are born knowing that you are worthy. But when you say to yourself, I'm not worthy, or I'm insufficient, or I'm inaccurate, or I'm inappropriate, the negative emotion that you feel is your guidance system saying, please return to the highlighted route. Well, what might that highlighted route be? That highlighted route would be like, I am appropriate. But you might be so far off your path you can't even get a whiff of that. So that highlighted route might be, well, I'm doing the best I can. That is closer to your route. And when you start moving in vibrational proximity to that which is truly your vibrational nature, you will begin to feel the relief factor, which is the release of resistance. The release of resistance, or the releasing of negative emotion, or the feeling a little better, is always the way that you understand that you are now proceeding to your highlighted route. Magellan doesn't say to Jerry and Esther, proceed to your destination and do it right now. Magellan says, proceed to your highlighted route. Magellan seems to understand that there's going to be a few hundred miles sometimes between where they are and the destination. But as long as they are on the highlighted route, Magellan settles down. And your emotional guidance system does too. In other words, it is not meant to be that you divine an idea and have instant manifestation. You just want to get moving in the approximate direction of it because it turns out that the true joy is in the journey. In other words, you're really not wanting to jump all the way to every idea. Well, maybe you think you are, but really you're not. You'd have a vacation planned with several destination spots along the way. You say, I'm going to stop here and here and here and here and here, and eventually I'll go back home. And you do not look at that objectively and say, oh, wait, all of those places, but the final destination will be home. Oh, wait. I'm already there. Why go? Because you don't go on your vacation to get it done. You don't go to get it checked off your list. You go for the fun along the way. You go for the inspiration, for the interaction with new people, for the birthing of new ideas, for the feeling of more life flowing through you. And every destination that you have, whether it's an improved body condition, whether it's an improvement in your financial situation, whether it's an improvement or a replacement or an altogether new creation relative to relationship, you are always on your way to more, and it will always be that way. You will never, ever arrive at your final destination. We call this gathering the art of allowing, because it is the art of learning how, by feeling your way to your highlighted route. It's the art of releasing resistance little by little by little until you become up to speed or in vibrational alignment with your own desires. And when you do that, the vibrational alignment, even though your object of desire has not yet been manifested, the alignment with the idea is truly heaven on earth. When you get in sync with the power of you, when you get in sync with your right and ability to create, then you can relax and acknowledge that there is nothing that I cannot be or do or have, but I don't have to be or do or have it all right now. There is plenty to enjoy now and plenty coming along the way. And fortunately, it will not come in faster than I can allow it. You will not be able to receive something that you're not vibrationally up to speed with. So it turns out that the joyous life is the one that is being lived by the person who is aware of the relativity between their current active thoughts, which is all a belief is, and their desire. When you learn to manage this vibrational relationship between where you are and where you want to be, life becomes sweet, even though many things are not fulfilled yet. Now, what we mean by that is, If you get, by virtue of focusing, doing creative workshops, going to meetings where people are getting you all juiced up about wanting things, if you get your desire factor activated at a much faster pace on one or a number of subjects than you've got your belief factor activated, you're going to cause chaos in your own experience. Wanting things you don't believe is not pleasant. And yet, we don't want you to ratchet your desire back down to your belief level, because then nothing can change. And you know, that's what most people are doing, because most people are spending most of their time looking at what is. And when you are giving most of your attention to what is, you're offering most of your vibration about what is, so you're just getting more of what is. Different places, different faces, but essentially what is. So the way it works is, you observe what is, you offer a vibration about what is, law of attraction matches what is, and you get more of what is. So you observe more of what is, you offer a vibration about what is, law of attraction matches what is, and you get more of what is. So you observe what is, you offer a vibration about what is, law of attraction matches what is, and then you get more of what is. And then you observe what, we could go on. Because you do. That's what you keep doing, mostly. And what we're wanting to call your attention to is that it's fine to observe what is, especially if what is pleasing you. But you might want to fill in the missing gaps with memories of things that were pleasing, or imagining things that are pleasing. And what we've noticed is that when you try to think your way, what often happens is law of attraction is so accommodating, and we are being sarcastic, and it doesn't become us either. But the reason that we are being sarcastic about that is because law of attraction does not give you access to thoughts that are very far from the thoughts that you've been actively thinking. When you focus upon something, you activate the vibration. And when you activate a vibration, law of attraction gives you more thoughts that are like that. And as you hold your attention there, that activation becomes strong enough that it's not just an activation, it's a dominant activation. And when something becomes a dominant activation, you call that a belief. We want to soften it by just saying it's a thought you keep thinking. When you continue to think a thought or activate a vibration that is not in alignment with who your inner being knows you are and with what you really want, then negative emotion ensues. And what happens to so many of you, bless your hearts, we mean this adoringly, you get used to that negative emotion, so you call it normal. You just become willing to put up with being ornery, or being overwhelmed, or being frustrated, or being angry. And if we were standing in your physical shoes, we would not put up for a moment with negative emotion. When Magellan kicks up a squawk, when Jerry and Esther have deliberately diverged from their path, Magellan says, please return to the highlighted route. Please return to the highlighted route. And Jerry will say, shut that broad up. He doesn't want to hear it. Esther is reaching for the knob to turn her down, because they really do not like that feeling, and you really should not like or endure the feeling of negative emotion, because it is an indicator that you are out of sync vibrationally. So, it is our powerful desire that you leave here today with a new determination that you're going to bless your emotional guidance system, because it is giving you such important information about the vibrational relativity between the thoughts that you're thinking and what you really are wanting. And that you make a decision that you are going to do your best to feel as good as you can feel all day long on every subject that becomes active within you. Joseph Campbell offered the most powerful, best words we've ever heard, uttered in physical form, about how you can get to where you want to be in terms of fulfilling your reason for being, in terms of living happily ever after, in terms of being the being that you came forth to be, when he said, follow your bliss. But we notice that sometimes you cannot even get a whiff of bliss, because your vibrational proclivity, because of what you're focused upon, is so vibrationally different from the bliss that he is encouraging you toward. And so we are encouraging you to follow your bliss, but sometimes you might have to take the life-giving breath of fresh air that anger will give you on your way to bliss. In other words, would you rather be afraid of something or angry about something? You're very wise. Your guidance is showing you that anger is a better choice. So if you are in despair or fear, in that utterly disempowered place, can you find bliss? Nothing's wrong with you. It is that law of attraction says you can't set your radio dial on 6:30 a.m. and hear what's being broadcast on 98 FM. The frequencies are too far apart. And you cannot be observing something that is giving you the emotional feedback of despair.